In this video, we take a look at an application where we can apply the technique of dimensional analysis. The drive from Las Vegas, Nevada to Phoenix, Arizona is approximately 302 miles. Assuming you average 65 miles per hour, how long would the drive take? Now, many of you might be able to look at this and just figure out how to get the answer without using any special techniques. I specifically want to use dimensional analysis to show you how it could be applied to this problem. So first of all, we have two numbers going on. We have 302 miles and then we have 65 miles per hour. I'm going to start with 302 miles and I need to figure out how long the drive would take. In other words, how long means the number of hours. So I want to convert the number of miles into the number of hours. Now, how can we go about doing that? We can use our rate, 65 miles per hour. 65 miles per hour says that for every 65 miles we travel, it takes 1 hour to do so. Or in other words, there's a ratio between 65 miles and 1 hour. If I want to use this ratio to convert 302 miles into hours, however, I'm actually going to have to take that ratio and flip it upside down, correct? When we apply dimensional analysis, we multiply by unit fractions, but we do so that our units cancel. I need to put 65 miles on the bottom, 1 hour on the top, so that when I multiply these fractions, the units of miles cancel from the numerator and the denominator. This gives us, multiplying across, 302 in the numerator. The miles have disappeared, but we are left with the units hours. And in the denominator, 1 times 65 is just 65. There's no more units. And so really, to calculate the number of hours, all I have to do is take 302 divided by 65. When you pull out a calculator and divide 302 divide 65, it gives you approximately 4.646153846, and this decimal goes forever and ever and ever. And so if I wanted to approximate, rounding to the nearest hour would be 5 hours, rounding to the nearest tenth of an hour would be 4.6 hours. So we'll just put approximately 4.6 hours. And that is how we could use dimensional analysis to complete that first part. Now suppose I have a second part to this problem. Let's look at another question that might apply to this drive. So the drive from Las Vegas to Phoenix again is approximately 302 miles. Suppose that your car gets 32 miles per gallon and that gas costs $3.56 per gallon. How much would it cost you to drive from Las Vegas to Phoenix? Now, many of you might be able to look at this problem and use both your brain and your calculator to compute the actual cost it would take from this information. That's great. That's fantastic. For those of you that might be a little confused and not sure where you want to go with this problem, dimensional analysis might be a useful tool. Let me show you one way that it could be applied. Let's begin by gathering the information in our problem. First, we know that the drive is 302 miles. What we don't know is how much it would cost, and that's what we have to finish with. That's what we're looking for. Now, we also have some more important information. We are told that our car gets 32 miles per gallon. That's a rate. In fact, it's a unit rate. It's a rate that corresponds to the miles and the gallons, specifically that 32 miles is equivalent to 1 gallon of gas. So I could express my rate as 32 miles divided by 1 gallon. There's another rate that I have in the problem that's important, and that is $3.56 per gallon. I'm going to write that down as well. $3.56 also corresponds to 1 gallon. I think these two unit rates are going to become critical as I'm doing my dimensional analysis. So where do we begin? I'm going to start with the 302 miles that I am being told is the distance for our journey. Now I need to convert those miles into a cost, but I'm going to use the unit rates that I wrote down to get there. First thing is I'm going to take my miles, and notice I have one of those unit rates that incorporates miles. It's this one right here. 32 miles is equivalent to 1 gallon, or corresponds to 1 gallon. So I'm going to use that unit rate in my dimensional analysis. When I set up my problem, remember, we have to set it up so that our units cancel, meaning I want a unit miles in the numerator and I want a unit miles in the denominator. If I do that, that puts 32 miles in the denominator and 1 gallon in the numerator. So far, so good. We're going to use that last rate to now make the conversion because we are now at gallons, but we need to still go to cost. So let's use that second rate, $3.56 per gallon, and incorporate that into our problem. We want to do so that things cancel properly. That is, we want to get rid of gallons because our final answer should be a cost. So that means I want to write my unit rate as $3.56 over 1 gallon so that the gallon units cancel as well. The only units left over now are dollars, and that's what we were looking for, the total cost. Let's multiply these fractions together. On top, I have 302, and I'm going to multiply that times 1 and then times $3.56. So on top, I'm taking 302 times $3.56. On the bottom, or in the denominator, I'm taking 1 times 32 times 1, and that's just 32. There are no units. Continuing on, using our calculator to assist us, we now take 302 and we multiply it by $3.56. That tells us in the numerator, I have $1,075.12. The last step then is to divide that number by 32 in the denominator. So I take that number and I divide by 32. And that tells me the final cost, $33.5975. And we know that money has to be rounded to the nearest 2 decimal places, or the hundredths if you like. So to round the 59, we look to the 7. That's a big number. That means we're going to round up. So that tells me that the total cost to drive to Phoenix would be approximately $33.60. I hope this explanation using dimensional analysis made sense to you. If not, and you need further help, just message or email me. Good luck.